Okay, so once you have traced the contour drawing of your photo on the acetate um, film, you're going to take it off the picture. And since we want to keep it the same, the same picture like this as your picture, we're going to flip it to the back. So we're going to turn it to the back. So it's kind of like reverse, right? We're going to paint the hair, the eyes, and the lips only. Right, so I'm going to use cool colors. So on my palette, I have some red, some blue, so I can make like a blue violet, because purple has red and blue in it, but depending on which more colors you have, right? If they have more blue, then it'd be a blue violet, so it's more like a cool rather than a warm. And I also have green and blue, right? And we all know that to make green, there's yellow in it, but if you add more blue to the green, it will have more blue in it. So I'm using a round brush. Try to use a brush that's appropriate to the where you're going to be painting. Like if you're a boy, you have maybe like the hair's not as long. So I'm just going to mix some blue and some green together, maybe some white. And I'm going to paint the hair. So you can be kind of like really expressive with this, right? It doesn't have to be like totally smooth. You could be very like linear by just doing different lines in the paint. So let's see. Add more blue to here. Right, so you want to just keep it in your hair, in your eyes, and your lips. The face and the background are going to be the opposite of what you use. So since I use cool colors for Stella's portrait, I'm going to have warm colors. So you can see this doesn't take that long to do. Let me put a piece of paper underneath my table here so that I don't get paint on it. So paint is very relaxing. You can blend colors as you go. Kind of try to stay within the lines of your hair. Right, so I think her hair kind of goes to here. You can be like kind of expressive with your brush strokes. Maybe I want more blue in here. And the nice thing about painting is that you can always paint over what you have if you don't like it once it's dry. She's always wanted blue hair, so there we go. Blue, this kind of reminds me of like the ocean. Very calming. So painting just hair. She has lots of hair. Okay. So I'm going to paint also like her eye. And her lips. Get some blue lips here. So after you finish painting the hair, we're going to let it sit aside to kind of dry, right? So this is what I did so far. When you flip it over, ooh, this is what it would look like. Pretty cool, right? So I'm just going to let this sit aside to dry. Now I'm going to get my paper and do the back color, which is the opposite, right? So now I have my 8.5 by 11, which is the same size of the picture. And I'm just going to clean my brush, my cup of water here, and clean out my brush. And for the background, it's going to be a lot of fun because you can get to do lots of textures and kind of experiment with like the different lines and mark making that a brush can make. So I'm just going to put a piece of paper underneath here so I don't get paint on my table. Alright, so since I did cool colors for her hair, I'm going to make all this warm colors. And I do have like a variety of sizes of brushes to work from. You might want to use a bigger brush. Here's a flat brush, right? The one I used before is more like a round brush. I have smaller sizes. This is a special fan brush. If you have a fan brush at home, that can make really cool textures. Like fan brushes are very good to making trees and things like that. But I'm going to use my big brush first, and I'm going to just kind of have fun with my warm colors. So now on my palette here, I have red, right? I'm just going to go ahead and add some yellow to create more warm. And I'm just going to mix, like fire, maybe some white. And I'm just going to be like very expressive with my paint here, right? So you can do all sorts of lines and different directions, right? You can even use the end of your brush and go back into this and kind of like make a little mark making. If you have a fork at home, you can go back in the paint and just kind of like draw on top of the paint, which is really cool. So you want to cover this whole paper with warm colors. And you can do whatever textures you like, different shapes. Maybe you can want to paint some shapes on there that you like. Peace sign, flowers, hearts, whatever you want to do. Okay, so that's pretty warm. You'll want to add some white on top of here. And then I'm going to turn the paper as I work. Maybe I want to do a little more violet over here. And some green. But still keeping with lots of yellows. Right. And if you're not satisfied with the colors, you know what? You can always make another one. And then see like how the other, when you put the acetate on top of this, like see how it looks. And if you don't like what you did, you can always make another one using different colors. So maybe I want to put a lot of red here. Cover it up. And then this side, I'll add some more white. Okay. Let's have a little more cover up over here. Now what I have so far. You can always look at it and go back on top and add more layers. I think the more layers you add, the more interesting, your portrait is going to look. So I'm just going to add like some more lines. Make it really be free and expressive with the lines here. Right? You can even use the back of the brush and kind of like scratch into it, draw into it. This is really fun, right? Mark making. Go back on top and add another layer. Some more white. And draw back into that. Make some hearts. You can even use a smaller brush on top and make some hearts. If you didn't like the hearts, just paint over them. You're going to keep one heart. All right. So I think I'm pretty satisfied with this. So what you're going to do is you're going to let it sit and dry. I'm cleaning my brush. There we go. All right. So I have to be patient and let this dry. But as you can see, when I put this blue acetate over this, look how cool that looks, right? Maybe I want to go back on top, say if I want like different parts of my painting, a different color, I can always go and adjust it. But you can put this over and pretty much see like how the warm and cool colors kind of pop against each other, creating like a push and a pull. So the warm colors kind of come forward towards you, and the cool colors kind of go to the back. And that is how to have fun using paint to express your portrait.